Hey everybody, for my demonstration today we're going to be talking about a climbing harness and some cordelette here, and I'm just going to be talking through identifying the components of a harness, how to correctly put it on, and then walking through how to use the figure eight follow through that we learned in class to tie into the harness. Obviously this is just some little cordelette. I couldn't find my climbing rope, so this is just demonstration, but I think it will give us an easy way to kind of identify how to correctly get ready in the future. All right, so first up, the harness itself. The main component is the waist strap, which is what we're looking at right here. Okay, this goes around the waist. It has some webbing that goes around the waist, which provides the cinching, and that's done right here. This is a buckle. You pull on the tab to make it tight, you pull it back, loosen it back up to get it fit around your waist. In the front, we have a couple different points of webbing. For these two, this lower and this top end point, that's where we're going to be tying in with the cordelette for the figure eight follow through knot. And for this piece of webbing here that's connecting those 2 points, that's your belay loop. So if we were going to be talking about a belay in this demonstration, that's where I would clip my locking carabiner. We're not going to do that today, but just so you know, that's what that front point is for. On the bottom, we have the 2 leg loops. When we put this on, we're going to put it on like a pair of pants. We're going to go right through the waist loop and then 1 leg per leg loop, obviously. And some harnesses will have a tightening strap, just like the waist does on this one. But this one, this style of harness just has this kind of stretchy webbing, which allows for some play there for your legs. So don't have to worry about that. And then in the back, this harness also has some clips, which just allows for positioning where you might want that leg loop to rest on your thigh. And then around the waist strap of the harness, we have these clip points. These are non-load bearing. So some harnesses, in fact, some safety harnesses do have load bearing clips on the side. If you want to, for whatever reason, in an emergency, have to connect someone to your harness, you could do it here. These are just used for climbing equipment, and so not to be used for that purpose. And that's it. Okay, so to put it on like a pair of pants, we're gonna keep it open like this. We're gonna step right through waist strap and 1 leg loop. This used to fit a lot better than it does now, but we're gonna pretend that it still fits great. Show off the legs there a little bit with these shorts. We're gonna make sure you pull any kind of like bunched clothing down, in this case, these basketball shorts. You don't want the harness on your skin if you can help it. That can provide some abrasion stuff if you're taking a fall or whatever. And we're gonna cinch it up until it's in a comfortable position. And then bring the waist up and over your hips, okay? I'm gonna now cinch this in a little bit, but not too tight. And let it rest comfortably just above my hips. The trick here is you wanna be able to insert 3 fingers into your waist pretty easily between your waist and the hip strap. So I can get it in there just fine, right? No problem, but I can't turn it. If I can turn it all the way and turn my fingers into perpendicular to my body, then it's too loose. If I can't get them in at all, it's too tight. So 3 fingers into the waist strap, turn, bunches up, we're good to go. So if I was doing this with a partner, we're gonna actually go climbing. I would allow them to inspect me to make sure that it's all good to go, but since we're doing it over video here, I'm just gonna do some checks. Leg straps are all good. There's no twisting happening in the leg loops. Again, a different kind of harness might require you to cinch the leg loops down. In this case, I've got that stretchy part doing it for me. Waist is appropriate, harness is on straight. Now we're gonna talk about our rope, AKA in this case, cordelette, and we're gonna do the figure eight follow through tie-in, and we're gonna leave enough room to do a safety knot in the back end, just like we learned in class. So the way that I do this, the way that I was taught, was to grab one end, the working end of the rope, left hand, right hand matches it, and then do a full arm length stretch. This is gonna give us and then a little more. And that's gonna give us the appropriate amount of rope to work with. Do 2 turns, poke the alien in the eye. That's the phrasing that I was taught back in the day. And there's the first half of our figure eight. Okay, now like I showed you, with there's 3 loops happening here. There's this top loop here, the combining loop for the belay loop, and then the bottom. For tying into the harness, we're gonna go in through the bottom, avoid the middle, and then up through the top, just like that. And now we've got the, it's really thin, sorry about that, but you can see the first half of the figure eight follow through the bottom there. It's going through both my loops here. And now I'm gonna bring this in pretty close to the bottom And I'm just gonna follow through and I'm gonna complete this knot. I'm gonna go around, feed back through. We've all done this now a bunch of times. Hopefully we all passed our knots test last week, yada yada. Okay. Make that look clean, nice dressed knot. And now I've got, I know it's really small, but I've got the figure 8 follow through completed. It's going through both my points of connection on the harness. And now just to tie this off, I'm gonna tie an overhand safety knot, just like so, on the bottom underneath my knot. A couple things to check for here to make sure your knot is appropriately tied distance-wise to your harness is the loop here that's made from going between the 2 points on the harness. I can't fit a fist through. If I were to take a dynamic fall or I'm working with my hands, you don't want your hands to somehow get stuck between the rope or cordelette and the harness. So that's good, can't fit it through. And I've got an appropriate distance between my safety knot and my figure 8 follow through. That's about a fist worth, that's cool. And also, finally, making sure I have enough of a tail at the back end of my safety knot. If the safety knot is tied with just a little bit of tail there, that can slip back through or whatever, but I've got an appropriate amount of tail here after my safety knot. So all things combined, I'm set up and good to go. If this were a lead climbing scenario, I would now pass the rope over to my belayer, who would take this end, connect it to their belay device. We would then both go through a safety buddy check of our harnesses, the rope system that we've just created. We have some verbal commands such as climber ready to climb. They would say climb on, and we get after it. So that's a quick demonstration on how to appropriately put on a climbing harness, how to tie in appropriately, and some familiarization with some of the components of the harness.